Well, hello there. My name is David Jones. I'm the CEO of Diversity of Thought. Normally, with me would be Catherine Esrock, who is the Executive Director for Brevard Cultural Alliance. But unfortunately, she couldn't join us today. She sends her love. She really wishes she could be here, especially because she's really excited about the guests that we're going to have on and to talk about the show that we're going to talk about today. Just so you all are aware, Brevard Cultural Alliance is an amazing organization that's all about making sure that we not only have access to the arts, but the arts have access to us. They do that in many ways, and this is just one of them. So this is the True Colors on the Space Coast podcast. We are representing not just BCA today, but also I'm going to say something. I was going to say the leadership of our class of 2024 Community Acceleration Project. However, technically, this is a community acceleration project from the class of 2021. Originally, that's how we got our start, but we are again a community acceleration project with the class of 2024. I cannot thank that group of leaders that have been working to put the show together. We have so much more in store throughout the next up and coming months. I can't wait to show you all what's going to happen. Now, today is really cool for me because not only do I get to talk to an amazingly talented individual that we are blessed to have right here in this county, but I also get to talk to somebody that I've known for a very, very long time. And so I can't wait. Oh, by the way, and this is a very interactive. So if you're watching, please make sure you like, share, say hello, speak up in the comments once you come in, ask questions. This is all about interacting. Let's have a good time. So without further ado, I am going to bring in the amazing Kim Marie Billings. Hello, Kim. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
That is good. Uh-oh. I don't know what it is, but you're frozen. So
Already?
it's not a bad fake thing. She said already, like, oh, okay, now you're back. I was like, you said already, like you were waiting for it to happen. Um, and again, if you are watching, please make sure you pop in, say hello. Liz Everett White, thank you so much for watching. Um, Kim, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Wait, are you recovered?
Are we talking about from the show?
No, I'm talking about from the birthday. Like, let's
Oh,
go.
I wish that I had the energy to turn up on my birthday like I did too. Last year, I got to spend my birthday in Ireland. My sister and I went on a game show and they filmed it in Ireland. So I don't know if I'll have a birthday that'll top that. I originally was planning a cruise, but the opportunity to do this show presented itself. So we decided not to cruise. And I had lunch with my sister yesterday and went to little Salsa's Cantina on Wickham Road and
Okay.
had a cocktail last night. And that was it.
Was it
Because
good?
I still had to work. So.
Oh, well, like you still have to show up for your fans because you got. I've been reading the reviews and you got some fans. Uh, before we get into the show, though, one happy birthday,
Thank you.
my fellow Taurus. Right
Yeah.
there we go. Let's go. Tauruses are in the house. I don't know what they were thinking letting two Tauruses run the show, but let's do it. Um, I want to start. I don't want to get into the show yet. I want to get into you. We've known each other since junior high school. They don't call it that anymore, by the way.
No, they call it middle school.
Yeah, we were better, junior high.
I
But
like that.
and please make sure if you pop on in, say hello in the chat. If you have any questions, make sure you throw some questions up there. Thank you so much for viewing. This is a very interactive program, so please, by all means, if you got something to say, make sure you put it in chat and say it. So we go back to Central Junior High School.
Correct. The
Yeah.
old Central.
The old Central, yes, not the new
Old.
hotness. We went to the old mess.
Yes, we did. We did.
Even the old Mel High.
We were the first graduating class from the new Mill High. Like they spent our 3 years there building it.
But only that one building, though. I feel like they didn't have the rest of it. They just had that one nice part that's in the front now.
I know you know what? They've added a lot obviously since 20 years ago when we were there. But
don't do that. Why you put our business out like that?
Listen, it's wisdom. That's how I look at it. I'm beyond the point of, oh man, I'm getting old. I just look at it as being wiser and more experienced.
Oh my goodness! All right, well, you say that, but I'm not feeling the I'm feeling the experience, but it doesn't feel like wise. Uh, so we do go all the way back, and it is super amazing to see what you're doing. And we're going to talk about the show, but I'm not just talking about the show. Can you give us a little bit about who you are?
Oh, I was a military brat. My father was stationed here. I'll age myself again. In the 80s and 90s, when I was a little girl, we were stationed at Patrick. And when my parents split, my mother loved it here so much, we moved back here. So we moved back here in the early 90s. So I went to late elementary school here, middle school here, and high school here. Moved away, went to college, had a baby, found a husband, all the things. And then I moved back here, 2006 ish. But I actually moved to South Florida and I lived down there until 2015. I worked for the school district. It's where I started working professionally as a singer. I did study music in school. I studied vocal performance in college, but I also had a baby in college my junior year. I became a mother and a wife. So those things were put on hold. But once I moved to South Florida, I was able to start singing with local bands and getting to perform professionally. And then in 2015, I moved to Dallas. My son wanted the opportunity to spend some of his time with his father. So we packed up and we moved to Dallas. I got rid of my things and we moved to Dallas so he could be near his dad. And since his father and I were able to share him at that time, it gave me the opportunity to really dig into being able to perform full time. So from 2015 to like 2020, I was able to work as a full-time performer. And it just gave me lots of opportunities. I was able to earn my way into the Actors Equity Association and become a professional actress and actually earn a salary when I do shows. I was able to work off Broadway, work on cruise ships. Just I was able to do a lot of things. And then when COVID happened, ironically, I know everyone remembers when COVID-19 hit. And we had all of those cruise employees stuck on cruise ships just in the middle of the water. Well, I was one of those people. I was working for a cruise line at the time, and there was just no way to get all the employees home. Because if you've been on a cruise, you know that a lot of the employees are not American. So they're on work visas. And it was just a lot of negotiating that the cruise lines needed to do with the CDC as well as embassies in other countries. So I sat on the ship for 2 months. Anchored in the Bahamas. We would come back every 7 days for food and gas or fuel for the boat. And the funny thing is that I could see from the dock, like the parking garage where my car was, but I just wasn't allowed to get off. But when they finally decided to let a group of people off to test out how we're going to safely get these people home, because I was American and it was very easy to get me home, I was one of the first people to come off. But by that time, I didn't have a place in New York anymore. I didn't have anywhere to live, actually, because I was supposed to be on the ship. My sister was living here in Melbourne, and she goes, well, you can move back home. And so here I am. That was 4 years ago. So I never thought I would move back here. I love being back home. I really do.
You know, growing up, everybody was like, we're getting out of here. And we ain't never coming back. And then it's just like everybody comes back, bro.
Yep.
Like Brevard has this way of just bringing you back. And then it's not so bad. Like when you're young, you're like, I want to get out of here. And you come back, you're like, this is pretty good. Like, and by the way, hey, classmate.
Hi, Kanima.
How you doing? Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Again, this is Brevard Cultural Alliance, True Colors on the Space Coast. We're talking with Kim Marie Billings, and she has had a journey to get back here to the Space Coast, but you're here. Now, along that journey, I do want to bring something up because I saw this image, and I was just like, oh, wow, okay, so this doesn't look like a small performance. This looks like a really big shebang. So can you tell me, like, what was this? What was happening here?
Sure. So when I lived in South Florida, I started working with bands, like cover bands, doing little bar gigs and restaurants and, private gigs, weddings and things. When I moved back to Florida in 2020, the guy in the very middle, his name is Trayvon Henderson. We used to sing together back when I lived in South Florida. He reached out to me, told me that some friends of his were starting an entertainment company and would I be interested in auditioning to be in one of their bands. Initially, I said no because by this time, I'm a professional actress now. Like I was like, oh, I don't do bands anymore. Like that was like my vibe. And plus with a startup group, it's going to be a long time before you get to work. It's, a lot of grinding before you actually get into the actual work and making money. But long story short, he talked me into it. So I work for an entertainment company out of Miami called Aragon Artists. And we do private, very high-end corporate events. We do galas, weddings, birthday parties, whatever the client wants. And this particular image is from a wedding we did at the Breakers last year. I think it was last year. If you've ever heard of a very famous country singer named Alan Jackson, if you remember the song Chattahoochee, my age to know that one. But his daughter got married at the Breakers in West Palm, and we performed at her wedding where they hired a 20-piece band. Our core band is only 5, but depending on the client, they might want extra. You can see in that image, there's string players, there's horn players, there's a DJ behind us. So depending on the client, they may do add-ons, and we get to put on a huge show for these people's reception.
Okay. So this isn't like just your normal. What I like about this, because you said something. I like where you started and I like where you're at. And I think that's very telling. Because oftentimes when you're not in an industry and you think about an industry, you think about success being like, oh, like big time already, something of that nature. Like, you're just going to show up and one day and all of a sudden just make it without putting in that work or that sweat equity. And like, now you're like, hey, man, I started doing bar gigs, doing this. And now look at you. You're a part of this organization that is playing at celebrities events. So like the people who entertain us, you're entertaining them. Like, that's really amazing. And you're right here in the Space Coast, which is awesome. Like, people don't recognize or understand the talent that we have here sometimes. And so I love this show because we get to highlight and say, no, this person is here. So y'all better recognize and understand that you have access to her right now. You may not always have access to her, but while you do, you should take advantage, because I'm just saying, Facebook.com/Kim Top Billings is right there at the bottom going through. And I'll put it up at the end again, but she's here, and people can hire you, correct? Like, okay, yep. She's like, listen, man, you can hire me, and I know you have to be able to sing because when I saw that they were doing this show, the first thing I thought was, nope. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was just like, nope, I don't think so, because you're doing The Bodyguard.
I am.
And that movie is iconic because who was in it?
The one and the only, Miss Houston herself.
And you are playing Whitney Houston. Again, this is True Colors of the Space Coast, Season 4, Episode 2. If you are watching, please make sure you stop in and say hello, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. This is interactive, so if you have any questions for Kim, make sure you throw them in there, or any comments. And if you've seen the show, let us know. Okay. So I got to ask you a question. But they're like, hey, this show is coming, and well, first, how did this come about? Like, you play. I know the person has a real name, but you normally say you playing Whitney.
That's what everyone says. So the character's name is Rachel Marin. So that is the actual character. When I open my script, it says Rachel and it has her lines, right? But
they should put parentheses.
Nobody knows
Whitney.
That. Right. Nobody knows that. And honestly, nobody cares either. Because even when I correct people, they're like, yeah, Whitney, got it.
But that's just like the guy. I don't know what his name is in the show. His name is Kevin Costner.
Exactly. So nobody really cares. And I'm going to be honest. I think when they made the movie, nobody it wasn't. It was made for her, right? So it really wasn't about the actual character Rachel. It was for Whitney. The movie was for her. So I've just stepped into it and accepted it. It's humbling and scary all at the same time. But I'm very grateful to be doing it.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you, I saw it, and the first thing I thought was the gunshot, and then that part like I know there's a whole bunch of scenes before and a little bit after, but like there's such an iconic moment from my childhood. It's that movie, that gunshot, and then her just sing. And I was about to try it, but we are live, and I was like, oh, I caught myself right there to not embarrass myself, right here on Facebook and YouTube. But again, if you're watching and I see there's a few of you out there, hello, please don't be shy. Make sure you speak up, say hello. Go ahead and say hello in the chat. It's a quiet group today. Usually folks are a little bit more talkative. I don't know why they're being shy. I think they're just so enamored by you. Like, you're playing Whitney, bro. Like,
It's not.
they're like, she's playing Whitney. And then when I saw it was you, I was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I got to go see my girl, because like that's it. Does it add more pressure because it's such an iconic role and everybody knows it as her?
Yes. So being a professional singer, for some people, for me especially, there's certain artists I don't want to sing their songs because I don't feel like I can do it justice, and she's one of them. I will, if there's a request, or, every wedding we're going to do I Want to Dance with Somebody, or, there are certain songs that are just done, but I don't walk around like singing Whitney Houston songs. I just don't think I'm worthy, so it adds an enormous amount of pressure. And like you, everyone's waiting for the gunshot, and then they're waiting for everyone. So, and we make you wait to the last 40 seconds of the show before you even get that.
Really?
So the build, yes, because obviously the gunshot happens at the end.
True.
Close to the very end. So it's a build up to that. And by then, I think audience have noticed that I have sang so much coming to that point. I feel like people are wondering if I even am able, because there is so much singing up to that point.
So wait, so how do they do that? Because I know they've made the Bodyguard the musical. So am I gonna see Kevin Costner like singing to you, which would be weird to me? Like is it just everybody breaks out in song and dance?
Great question. So typically in a musical, yes, it's like, you'll see two people having dialogue like, yes, well, I'm getting ready to go to the store. And then you'll hear, ding, I'm going to the store. Right. That's typically how musicals go. There's dialogue and we break out in song. In this particular musical, what they've done is they've comprised songs from the actual movie. So, Queen of the Night, I Have Nothing, those songs that she does in the movie, along with some of her greatest hits that we know and love and miss, and use those songs to tell the story. So instead of them writing original music to tie into the story, they just took her songs and added it into the storyline. I don't know if that makes sense.
So you're not just singing some Whitney Houston, you're singing all the Whitney Houston.
A lot. 13 songs. I think it's 13 songs. Yeah.
Oh my.
I think in the first 10 minutes, I've done like 3 songs in the first 15 minutes of the show. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, this sounds like it's a fun show, and you've got a great cast, by the way.
We do.
And I will say, Jamelia Scott, and my girl Fendi, they've been on the show before. They were on the cast of The Color Purple, so we had them last year. And we're gonna have Jamelia Scott on the show again later on this year with her performing in and around the county. And Fendi was such an amazing, iconic character in The Color Purple herself. So like it's just really cool to see how much talent is around here, but then also it's like it's enough to almost like share the spotlight, to where it's not like it's the same person at every show that's leading. You see it to where it's like, no, this show, this is right for this person, and this is how it comes out. And here, they're still a part of it, but this is who we have. And it's really cool to see that. And by the way, I've heard nothing but great stuff about the show. I was on Facebook, like scurrying, like who's seen it. And like just some of the reviews of what they said is just amazing, blown away. Really, really, I think it was shocked of like how well you sang. Now, I didn't know you were singing all the Whitney. I thought they just meant like that moment. To where I was just like, okay, and right here, I mean, you are like absolutely like the queen right here.
I mean, look what Dominic dressed me in. I mean, how could I not embody? He kept it a little more modest. I asked to wear it without the skirt. I'm wearing a black skirt over that jumpsuit.
Okay.
And I asked to do it without the skirt. He's like, all right, well, this is Brevard. We're going to, you know.
I'm not ready for that.
Well, the show is rated R, so there is a little bit of, profanity or whatever. But when I got to try that costume on, and this is for Queen of the Night, I immediately was like, oh, yes. And then I got the skirt, put the skirt on. I was like, this is cute, but I wonder if he would let me do it without. And we had a funny banter about it. But actually now I love it, just the way it is. Watching it move, like as I'm seeing videos and stuff, watching it the way that it moves and stuff. His vision was great. The crown, all of it.
Well, and I get it because you're like, listen, so something that we didn't talk about, but I'm going to bring it up here, is that you're not just a professional actor or a professional singer. You're also a professional at getting people to look amazing throughout this county. What is your other day job?
So my full-time job, I work for Crunch Fitness as a group fitness manager. We have 2 Crunch Fitnesses here in the county. So I'm the fitness manager at both. So you'll see me at the 192 location as well as the one on Wickham Road. And my job is just basically class programming. I hire and do all the scheduling for everything related to classes. I choose the classes that we have from quarter to quarter, make sure we have a great team of instructors, make sure we're giving the members a great experience so that we can keep people in the gym and keep people healthy. And then I teach on top of that. So I typically teach about 15 classes a week, but since I took on the Bodyguard, I had to scale back. I'm only teaching like 6 or 7 right now. But it keeps me accountable. It keeps me in shape. It keeps me connected to so many people. I get to, between both gyms, I think we have over 15,000 members. Oh, wow. So I'm allowed to be in front of so many people, impact so many people, and help us stay healthy. I'm not getting any younger. And my knees tell me that.
Yeah. Well, you look great. I need to take my behind apparently to a class because like this isn't like you're like, oh, I just want to wear this without the skirt. And if I'm up there, I'm like, I need more to hide like everything because this isn't good. Okay, so do you ever actually do a class to Whitney the Houston tracks? Because like I want to dance with somebody like that could be, I don't know.
I have not. I have in my cycle class though. We've done a divas theme where all of the music is like Whitney, Beyonce, J-Lo, all these women, Janet, all these iconic women divas. So she's always definitely in a mix like that. But have I done straight Whitney? No, not yet.
Okay. And you are absolutely the queen of the night.
Right. Now that picture, when I first seen it, I was like, nice.
She's like, all right, so we're gonna get this blown up. It's gonna be hanging over this massive fireplace, even though we live in Florida, probably don't have fireplaces. But like, I would understand that. Like, if you're in this photo, you're like, I kind of need it blown up really large in my house somewhere because like nobody else is gonna have this. This is awesome. I absolutely love it. And then here's your Kevin Costner. Man, I know he's got a name, but it's the actor's name is remind me.
The actor's name is Chase.
Chase. Okay.
His character in the show is Frank Farmer.
Yep. Chase is playing Kevin Costner, and I appreciate it. I'm happy to hear though that it's not like Chase breaking out into song. I'm not saying he can't sing. I don't know, but that would be weird for me just because it's like, man, I know the movie and I want to see it more now that you've told me it's like all Whitney songs. Since it's like, oh man. And I try to like have my daughter listen to Whitney. My daughter loves to sing. And she's really good. And so like I try to play people like songs where I'm like, okay, let me find some older stuff with people who have powerful voices. And it just doesn't get more powerful than Whitney Houston. I remember the first time more recently, I put on a Whitney Houston song. She was like, and I'm like, yeah, this lady, she was the GOAT. And we have some questions coming in. We are going to bring up. We have not forgotten about you. So, Jeremy, thank you very much. I'm going to bring the question up here shortly. And if you guys have more questions, please make sure you add them in the chat or stop in and say hi. I will say that Kima says that her mom is going to be at your show on May 26th, and she is very excited.
Her mom is coming with my mom, who, fun fact, my mother bought 75 seats to the closing show. You heard me correctly. It started with 40, and then she sold them all to her clients and friends and our family members, and she went back and bought 35 more. So our closing show will be very lit on May 26th.
Can I get a? I mean, come on. Hi, Mom.
She has them before. We can find out. I'll check for you. But yeah,
come on, man. No, that's that's a lot. And then I love this. I saw this photo and I was just like, I'm so happy to see this because it's not going to be the only. I'm sure you've gotten already a significant amount more, but I hope you're ready. I don't know what you do with all the flowers you're going to get because I'm confident you're going to get like 8,000 bouquets of flowers. What do you do with all that? Do they keep them or?
I actually love flowers. I actually told my boyfriend this: if I'm mad at him, come through with some roses, and I might consider not being mad or thinking of not being as mad. I love flowers, so I have this little contest with myself to see how long I can keep them alive. And so I'm changing out the water. I'm trimming the stems. I'm buying flower food because I love flowers. So anytime I receive them, I'm always trying to see how many days, how many weeks I can keep them alive. And for my birthday yesterday, ironically, I received like 24 roses. Had flowers delivered to the house. My mother bought me a cake that's really flowers. It looks like a cake, but it's a flower arrangement. So I have a lot of flowers to try to keep alive for the next few weeks.
It's like I feel bad because I feel like they just gave you a job. It's like,
some people don't do all of that. Some people just put them in water, and when they die, they throw them away. But I love flowers. I love seeing them. I love smelling them. So
I feel guilty. I'm those other people. I'm those other people. I feel so guilty right now. Like, I'm that dude. I'm like, okay, it's gonna stay in the water that it came in, and eventually I'm looking. I'm like, I think it's time for them to go. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to seeing the show. I really am. I've heard my father saw the show opening weekend, and he was just like, "Oh my god, that was amazing!" And I'm just like, "Okay, this dude came back like heavily impressed." And he's a fellow musician, so he listens and he was so impressed with the show. I cannot wait to see it. All I've heard is great things about you, about the cast. I do want to get to a question in here. So Jeremy, thank you so much for watching. Jeremy says, what advice would you give to actors, singers, artists who are up and coming and are striving to be able to make a living doing their art?
Hi, Jeremy. So great question. Keep your head down and work. I was never given anything, nothing. I believe in working hard. I will put in the work. I'll put in the time. Can't tell you how many times I've sang for free, knowing that I'm talented enough to at least earn a couple dollars, right? But it's part of the grind. Study, be humble. To this day, even listening to you gush about me, if I wasn't dark skinned, you would see that I'm blushing, because I'm always humbled by how I affect other people as a performer. I don't take it for granted for 1 second. I'm finally in my 40s. I'm able to do all of the things that I want. I don't have one job that I don't love. I love every single thing I do every day. And it just took me some time to get to that point. But it was being humble, being a sponge, surrounding yourself with people that do what you want to do, surrounding yourself with people who have already put themselves in that position or are on the same path as you. Those are the people that will motivate you. Those are the people that can understand you and what you're going through. Those are the people that can support you. And it's really just, it's working. It's work and being disciplined. Nobody who has anything that they love or that they've worked for can be taken away from them. And that's just, I've just always looked at it like that. I studied classical music in college. I didn't study theater. I never was a dancer. My mother was a single mom. And so what I was able to do was limited. But when I decided I wanted to be a professional actor, I was in my 30s in dance classes with 20-year-olds, right? Who've been dancing since they were 2. And even the first time I got called back for the show Beautiful on Broadway, and I had to fly to New York, and I had to go in a dance call. And I'm clearly the oldest woman in the room, although, you know, we age gracefully here. However, I know that I was much older than a lot of these women. And they were, you know, been dancing their whole lives. And it was humbling, but it's what had to be done. And you just don't take it for granted, because I won't lie. I had a health scare not too long ago, and my voice is not what it used to be. Work that I never had to do on my voice, I have to do now. I have to warm up a lot more. I took for granted that I just naturally had a good singing voice. I never took good care of my voice. It just always did what it needed to do. But I don't have that anymore. So I have to work a lot harder. So it's just always working and putting in the effort and not giving up, because not everyone's good. There's a very small percentage of people who are going to be, you know, millionaire touring artists or Broadway stars. There's just such a small percentage. You don't have to be that to follow your dreams. I'm a prime example. I moved back here not thinking that I would be able to perform anymore at the capacity I was when I lived in Dallas. Because in Dallas, I was a full-time performer. I would travel and perform. I'd come back after a couple months, book the next show. I'd be gone again. I just didn't think I would have that opportunity here. But I get to work for Aragon Artists and perform at amazing events all over the country and out of the country. We went out of the country several times over the last few years. And then even here, opportunities like this show coming available for me to do in my hometown, where nobody in my hometown has ever seen me do a show, which is also a lot of pressure. Because people hear of that I'm a performer, but they don't get to see it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I remember, like, I knew some of the cast from The Color Purple from before I went to go see it. And then I just remember thinking, oh my God, I forgot I was watching somebody I knew, because I was so caught up in the show. And I saw somebody say something similar. And I'm looking forward to that experience when I go see The Bodyguard about you, because it was just like, I can't believe I know this person. And we don't, oftentimes it used to be that you had to take your talents somewhere else to be able to be appreciated. And what I like to believe is that we're getting better as a community, appreciating the arts while it's here, so it doesn't have to go to other places. And when I mean appreciate, I don't just mean come out and celebrate, but also pay for it. Because there's so many artists that would be like, you know, I got to go to Orlando to book gigs. And then I'd watch people from here go to Orlando to watch the gig of the person who lives here but is getting paid over there. It's super weird. I'm like, so all of us are just wasting gas. Okay. And then pumping the economy and the money in the economy is somewhere else instead of right here. So for us, we like to believe that we're trying to help change that narrative and showcase that there's talent that's here, that we should support that talent while it's here, and we should hire that talent while it's here. And if you want to hire the talent that is here, a place to get a hold of this phenomenal, amazing, brilliant individual known as Kim Marie Billings, you can go to facebook.com/Kim.Billings. It's right there going across the ticker. And that is not it. There's just one other thing I want to bring up, and that is you started another business venture here in Brevard County. We're going to tell all your tea. And it's the Ultimate All-Stars of Brevard. If you can quickly, I got a couple more minutes. If you can quickly just tell us about that. And again, this is True Colors on the Space Coast for Brevard Cultural Alliance. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, please make sure you put them in the chat. We'll bring them in. Yes, please tell us about the Ultimate All-Stars of Brevard.
So amongst the other things that I do, I have an extensive background. Well, first of all, I'm an athlete. I was an athlete all growing up. So I love any kind of sports, physical activity. Later in my young adult, I got involved in cheerleading, coaching, fell in love with it. And I think I started doing that when my sister was in middle school. So we're talking early 2000s, maybe. And I've had the opportunity to be a choreographer, a judge, coach, director, all the things. Well, my sister and I have talked many years about opening a cheer and dance facility together. And I strongly believe God brought me back here for that reason, amongst others. So in March, we opened our own cheer and dance facility in West Melbourne. It's at the corner of Wickham Road and Ellis, right behind Advanced Discount Auto Parts. We do competitive cheerleading and dance for all kids ages 3 to 18, all abilities. I don't care if you can't walk and chew gum. I will put you on a team and train you, give you the self-confidence that you need. Growing as a young child, it's important for our kids to be active. It's important for our kids to be nurtured and taught lessons that expand far beyond, childhood and far beyond cheerleading or basketball or football. We get to create great memories with kids. And when they're, 25, 26, or, they should be able to look back and be like, man, remember when I was in cheerleading and we traveled here and we did this and did that. Crystal and I just want to be change agents for how these kids are nurtured. These kids, and David, you can attest this because you have a young child. These kids are not the kids we were. Like my coaches and parents and whoever, they could talk to me any kind of way. I was fine. Like it was whatever. It's a lot different now. The kids are being raised differently. The culture is different. We have social media and all these things that are influencing our kids, that play into their mental health. And so our vision in our program is for us to not only train these kids up as great athletes, but train them up to be great young adults, build their self-esteem, coach and teach them in a way that is gentle, but still structured so that they can grow without being yelled at, screamed at, belittled. All of those things that, sometimes come along with the passion that coaches share when we're coaching sports, because that's all it is for coaches. It's just passion. But our passion, unfortunately, doesn't always resonate in certain ways with kids.
I like how you said that. So, it's just passion. When the coach is yelling at you, calling you every name in the book, it's passion.
We don't coach for money. Like we're not NFL coaches. We're making a stipend, if that, right? Or volunteer. That stuff's free. So if an adult is coaching kids, that they're passionate about it. Yeah. And sometimes the way that's conveyed isn't always in the best interest of the child's mental health. So we're just really trying to get ourselves out there and get our program going. We have our tryouts coming out May 19th for cheerleading. May 20th for hip hop. We have cheerleading and hip hop. Both are competitive. You can reach us at ultimateallstarsbrevard.com. You can sign up for cheer tryouts or hip hop tryouts. Our hip hop tryouts are free. Cheer is not, but
I try out for hip hop.
Unfortunately, you're too old. But sorry, it's for children.
No, I recall just a little while ago somebody saying you're never too old to get started, and yet I'm just messing with you.
I can text you some adult studios.
Listen,
if you want to explore that.
I got 2 left feet and I'm proud of them. All right, so
I feel like I've seen you dance before. You didn't dance as a kid.
Oh, we're not going to go there. Yeah, but that's
like talent show.
That's oh no, let's not.
I don't think you have 2 left feet.
This is when
the interview ends.
Yeah, it's like this is why it's like, oh no, this is somebody who knows me from the past for real. It's like, so it came up that like, didn't you sing at your graduation? I was like, oh God.
I'm like, weren't you in a boy band? Like,
no, we were not a boy band. I like to say for the record that we were not a boy band. We were boys, but we weren't really a band. We sang a couple songs.
But didn't y'all have choreography too?
No, we did not have choreography. We didn't get that far.
Okay.
But Travian, shout out. Robert Burns, shout out. Ty Hunt, shout out. Let's go. There's a photo out there. We're not going to talk about that though. There's no video, thank God. But I'm sure there is on VHS, but nobody's converted it yet.
Yeah.
And this is where we are going to segue into the end of the show because I had a great time talking to you and enough talking about me. I do want to tell you that as a way for us to say thank you for just having the talents that you do have here. One of the things that we do with Brevard Cultural Alliance is we want to make sure that, as I said at the beginning, that people have access to the arts and the arts have access to the people. And so, Kim, we are going to give you it's an organization that you have to join and pay for, but you're going to get a 1-year membership for free. on behalf of Catherine Eschrock in the BCA. Again, she apologized that she could not be on, but she was just like, absolutely, let's make sure she gets that membership. So I'll give her all your info. Oh my God, here we go. So look at this.
See, I told you.
And she said, let's find the photo. Oh, the photo's not hard to find. It's been sent to me several times. They're like, is this you? And I'm like, yep.
I am not crazy.
No. Okay, how about
the real high top? I'm not crazy. I have an impeccable memory. So.
And I don't. So I'm like, I'm sure at some point there was dancing, and I know there was a high top fade. A high top fade was there forever. And yeah, I'm gonna get off this with my classmates. This is weird. It's not about me. Again, please make sure if you have an event coming up and you want to have an extraordinarily talented person to come in and just really change the atmosphere with a beautiful voice and amazing songs. This is an individual that is right here in this county. You can reach her at facebook.com/Kim.Billings. I cannot thank you enough for coming on. Kim, I really appreciate it. This has been fun for me, especially going down that little trip towards memory lane. But oh God, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get flooded with this photo now.
I can't wait. Tag me.
I will too. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to see the show. I cannot wait to see what you and the cast and the director have brought to the county. I can't not appreciate you enough for the talent and energy and effort that you all are doing for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Are you bringing your daughter to the show?
It's a little mature.
So there's like 3 curse words. Like that's it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
That's all. It's literally, and there is live gunshot, so we use blanks. So there's 2 like loud bangs, but there's literally just a couple of curse words. There's no inappropriate touching or anything like that.
Okay, so I'll say this. I mean, I know somebody's moms might have 2 tickets.
I will ask her for you.
And if she does, we'll be there.
I'll ask her.
Yeah?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here at 43 minutes on the dot. By the way, it's one of our longer interviews. We were just having fun, though. So I'm just going to let it ride afterwards. They're going to be like, how long was your interview, bro? My bad. Again, this is David Jones from Diversity of Thought, True Colors on the Space Coast. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Kim, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for participating. Kanima, if you find that photo, keep it to yourself. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We have another amazing guest. And make sure make sure you go see The Bodyguard. There's still tickets left. There's not a lot, so you need to buy your tickets soon. You can go to the Henegar Center's website to purchase tickets. They added 2 matinees because they were selling out so fast. Please make sure you take the opportunity and go out and see this show. You will not regret it.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. For the matinees, we had a matinee on the 18th and the 25th. I am not performing in either of those. I have an amazing understudy named Rachel God. She's fantastic. But if you were trying to see me specifically, I am not in the matinee on the 18th. I'm not in any show on the 18th or the matinee on the 25th, but I am in every other show. Even without me, the show is amazing. Yes, my cheerleading is nonprofit. So if you have any nonprofit-y things, please contact me. I would appreciate it. Thanks. But yeah, the show, even without me, the costuming, the everything, it's amazing. We put together an amazing show of dance. You'll hear the songs, you'll love it. You will cry, you'll laugh, you will reminisce. It just gives you all the feels.
All right, and before we get off, let's go ahead and hit that iconic note. So I'll do the gunshot, and then you start, okay? I'm just.
So sorry, and if I do it now, why would people come see the show?
I was just about to say this. I was going to say no. If you really want to see it, because I know that's what everybody wants to see. If you really want to see it, you know what you got to do. Get tickets from the Henegar Center. We'll see you guys out there at the show. Thank you so much, everybody. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you back again in 2 weeks.
Thank you.